Mark Ishaug is the Chief Executive Officer of Thresholds, recognized 7 years in a row by the Chicago Tribune as a best place to work. For Mark, people focus is not mere lip service, it's mission critical. Mark became well known in NatCon circles a few years ago with his TED-style talk, Leading with Love. Well, he's done it again, and you will fall in love with Mark all over again as he shares with you the power of authenticity, genuine leadership, and a power we can all tap more deeply into that comes from respecting the differences among us. Please welcome Mark Ishaug with his TED-style talk, Why Walk When You Can Fly?
So, I'm the love guy. I love to talk about love, especially leading with love and kindness and compassion in the workplace. In the best of days, leading with love is a really smart idea. In the darkest of days, it's a necessary idea. So there are, of course, a gazillion quotes, inspirational quotes on love, but the three that drive me in my work, in my life, every single day are these. And in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. Lennon and McCartney. This particular one is on my living room mantle, and so I look at it every single day. Justice is what love looks like in public. Dr. Cornel West. And power without love is reckless and abusive, and love without power is sentimental and anemic. Martin Luther King Jr. So it has become so crystal clear to me over the last 15 or 16 months that this trifecta of love and power and justice is exactly what we need if we are going to move from collective hurt to collective healing. As individuals, as communities, as workplaces, our cities, our states, our country, indeed the world. And thank God the healing has begun. Millions and millions and millions of people have been vaccinated, and millions more will be soon. Our schools are reopening. Police reform and accountability are happening because we are taking to the streets to demand it. Black, Indigenous, and other people of color are being elected to highest office, are being appointed to cabinet positions, are being named president, CEO, and chairman of the board. Finally. Amanda Gorman, she is creating poetry for the ages. And thank goodness summer is coming. But damn, if we are not hurting. Many of us on this Zoom, most of us, if we dare admit it. In the United States alone, we have lost 600,000 souls to COVID-19. Friends and family members, clients and colleagues, people that we loved deeply. Millions of people are searching for meaningful employment. Health disparities, lack of access to housing, lack of access to COVID vaccine continues. People of color are being attacked because they are people of color. Our airwaves and social media are filled with hate and vitriol and misinformation and lies. And our democracy, it is under attack, literally. We are living in what Ibram X. Kendi calls a time of abuse, where fear and depression and anxiety are rising, where youth and young adults are experiencing suicidal ideation and many dying by suicide in record numbers. And we are losing more people than ever to opioid and other drug overdoses, to alcoholism, to violence, especially our Black brothers and sisters. Isabel Wilkerson, the author of The Warmth of Other Suns and most recently Cast, my favorite nonfiction book of all time, has said so pointedly and prophetically that the power of privilege is the moral duty to act when one sees another person treated unfairly. And I would add the moral duty to act when we see and benefit from the systems that were designed to perpetuate inequality and inequity. Systems that were designed to prevent access to capital and opportunity. Systems that were designed for white privilege. Wilkerson goes on to say that you could choose not to look at your own peril. The owner of an old house knows that whatever you are ignoring will not go away. Whatever is lurking will fester, whether you choose to look at it or not. And ignorance is simply no protection from the consequence of inaction. Whatever you're wishing away will gnaw at you until you have the courage to face what you would rather not see. So as leaders and practitioners in the mental well-being space, we won't look away. That's not who we are. That's not in our DNA. But we have to look more carefully. We have to listen more closely. We have to learn more quickly. And we have to love more deeply. And we have to act with a fierce sense of urgency. And this means being individually and collectively anti-racist, as Dr. Kendi demands. And this requires constant self-awareness and self-criticism and regular self-examination, and developing the programs and the policies in our organizations, in our communities that move us toward racial justice. And we have to hold ourselves and each other accountable, because there is simply no healing without accountability. We're not going to settle for the world as it is, but we're going to work really hard, do the hard work for the world as it should be, as Barack Obama implores us. And for me, this hard work is all about becoming, as Michelle says. Forward motion. It's a means of evolving, a way to continuously reach toward a better self. The journey doesn't end when we achieve one milestone or one goal. The journey simply propels us to the next journey. And what is this immediate next journey? Well, it's a journey of hope, and it's a journey of promise. But it's not a journey backwards to the so-called good old days that were not good for most people. But this is a journey about building back better, inclusively. And this is a journey with an equity lens, a racial justice equity lens, a healthcare equity lens, and a gender equity lens. And no rose-colored lenses here, folks, because we need really clear lenses, because moral and ethical clarity are required, as is love. And love that recognizes no barriers, but that jumps hurdles and leaps fences and penetrates to arrive at its destination full of hope, as Maya Angelou exclaims. You know, if anybody can do this, anybody must do it, it's us. Sometimes it feels like we don't have a choice, but actually we do. And choosing to do the right thing and do it right is so much more meaningful and so much more impactful. Intention is great, but impact is absolutely everything. And despite all that is swirling around us, all that might happen over the next couple months, all that might happen in the next year or so that we have no idea might happen, we can act, and we cannot wait. And we don't have to look much further than in our midst to know exactly how we should act. We can act like Emily and Billy, who couldn't have their dream wedding because of COVID-19, but turned their non-refundable deposit into 200 gourmet meals for Emily's clients. We can act like Cynthia and Latasha and Arnelia, who show up to work every single day when the rest of us have the privilege of working from home. We can act like Christian, who when it's 10 degrees, 20 degrees below wind chill, I might add, in Chicago, he and his colleagues are on the streets, making sure that their clients are safe and fed. We can act like Suzette, who makes sure that science and data and facts guide Black women in the healthcare decisions that they need to make for themselves. We can act like Inger, who teaches us that mindfulness and meditation and yoga can and do heal Black communities. We can act like Garth, who insists that there is simply no health care unless we address the social determinants of health. And we can act like Nisha and Kim, who affirm every single day that DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, is in our collective DNA. And we can act like Navy veteran Fernando, who works to ensure that those men and women who served our country, who served us, get the services they need and deserve. And we can rally, and we can march, and we can volunteer, and we can donate, and we can vote. And we must do everything in our power to demand the right for everyone to be able to vote. And we might have to distribute food and water to those waiting in line. As the late, great Sam Cooke croons, change is gonna come. But it's not gonna be easy, and it's not gonna be linear, and it's not gonna come as fast as we would like it. But change is gonna come because we are gonna act up, and we are gonna fight, and we are gonna fight back. And we are gonna do the hard work that it takes to win. I am so thrilled to be on this journey with you, so excited to be on the path with you, and so honored to be a champion of change with you. And I leave you with the words of my muse, Mary Chapin Carpenter. In this world, there's a whole lot of trouble. In this world, there's a whole lot of pain. In this world, you've a soul for a compass and a heart for a pair of wings. There's a star on the far horizon rising bright in an azure sky. And for the rest of the time that we're given, why walk when you can fly? So let's fly, friends. Make love, demand justice, and use our power for good. Thank you.